Welcome to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. And what I've got for you today, my friends, is I have a list of 7 high-paying jobs that I think are ideal for people who are over 50. And what I did when I compiled this list is I took into consideration many of the comments that I've gotten from viewers like you who watch my videos on jobs, and then you tell me, hey, Lou, this is what I'm thinking, and this is what I can or cannot do. So I took a lot of the feedback that I received from viewers who watched my previous videos, and I compiled this list. Some of the things I looked at. Number one is I wanted to present to you today a job that doesn't require years of training. That's important. Number two is I also wanted to present to you a job that you can leverage the experiences that you have. And for the most part, with this list, yeah, you can leverage the experience you have, the skills and the experience you have to do one of these jobs, take one of these jobs. Number three, though, is I also wanted to make sure that the list included jobs where you could potentially make a high income. And I think with these 7 jobs, and some of them, I'm guessing maybe all of them you've heard about, but maybe you just weren't sure if the job was for you. So I put these list together of 7 jobs. Watch this video from number 1 through number 7, and maybe that will help you to decide which of these jobs is for you. So right after this break, I'm going to jump into it. I'm going to tell you about 7 high-paying jobs for people who are over 50. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. Well, before the break, I did say that what I'm going to be telling you about today is I'm going to tell you about 7 high-paying jobs for people who are over 50. And I'm excited to be able to share this information with you. But before I do, I want to mention I've got 2 freebies for you in the description box of this video. One is I do have a link to a 5-sentence cover letter. I call it a cover letter that hiring managers can't resist. I compiled a cover letter based on lots of information that I've learned over the years, and I want to share it with you through this link. Now, you can use all or part of this cover letter when you send out your resume. I'll let you decide what part or if you want to use all of it. But there is another link in the description box, and that link is to a free career aptitude test. And that career aptitude test is courtesy of Career Fitter. Now, if you follow my channel, if you follow me, then you know I'm a big believer in career aptitude tests. That's because I love data. I like looking at information, and it helps to steer me when I make a decision. And I think this information that you'll get from the career aptitude test, I really believe it can help steer you into a career or to a career that's ideal for you. And again, that link to the Career Fitter career aptitude test is in the description box. Now, one thing I do want to mention about that test is that if you decide you want to dive deeper, there's a paid version. You can take the free and the paid. It's up to you. But one thing about the paid version, of course, what it does is it does provide you with a list of jobs that are in your area and jobs that are ideal for you. So again, that's all I got for you on that front. Let's get into our video. Number 1 on our list is real estate agent. Now, I don't think that I need to explain to you what a real estate agent does, but just indulge me for a second while I just summarize what they do. A real estate agent, they have a professional license to help people buy, sell, and rent real estate. And they work under a real estate broker, and that broker has completed additional training and licensing requirements so they can basically oversee realtors. So you would be working with or under a real estate broker. Now, I bring this particular job up, and I'm presenting it to you today not because it's just easy to put a real estate agent on a list, and I know some people probably do that out there. But no, I actually have worked in this field. For a short amount of time I worked in it. I thought I'd get into it because, you know what, I knew I could make some money, but what I did learn is I learned that there are a lot of people out there who are making a pretty good living doing real estate. I've got one of my best friends, actually she is my best friend, who's a realtor. My niece is a realtor. She does very, very well financially. So I know that this is a potentially a lucrative career if it is something that you decide you want to do. So now let me just give you some facts about a realtor. The median age of a realtor in the United States is 54 years old. 49% of all agents in the U.S. are full-time, while 22% classify themselves as part-time. And this is according to some data I collected when I did my research. Now, to get a real estate license in Ohio, and I'm going to use that as an example because that's my home state. Our realtor licensing board says you've got to have a high school diploma or equivalent, and you have to have successfully completed 120 hours of approved real estate education. And they say you got to do that within a 10-year time frame. So they give you plenty of time to go ahead and learn or study the real estate profession. Now, I don't see that there are a lot of other, I will just say, barriers to entry for this particular job. But I do find this. I find that successful realtors have excellent communication skills. They understand marketing, and they have good negotiation skills. They're also driven to help their clients, and they're also driven to make money, and I see that for sure. Now, regarding income, ZipRecruiter says salaries can be as high as $155,000 or as low as $19,000. They also say the majority of first-year real estate agents, their salaries range between $54,000 and $102,000, with top earners making $125,000 annually. You know, this sounds like a good gig, but I know it will probably take a year or two to get close to the numbers that ZipRecruiter is saying, even though they're saying in the first year you can really make a six-figure income. But again, I like this gig. I like this job because it's low barrier to entry. You can make some good money if you're willing to work at it. Tutor. Now, I love this gig because I think most of you out there can do this. Now, a tutor's job is to help students understand what is taught in class. And sometimes, that involves helping them solve specific problems. Sometimes it's just looking at their study habits and helping them with that. But a few benefits of being a tutor is you're always going to have a job. That job is in demand. You're your own boss. You've got a flexible work schedule, and it's a relatively easy way to share your knowledge and to increase your income without having to obtain additional certification or training. So I think this is a really ideal job. Now, to get your tutoring business up and running, it does require patience and perseverance. I don't think it's going to happen overnight, not necessarily. But to speed up that process, I recommend that what you do is just a bit of networking. My former guitar teacher, he built a successful tutoring business by developing relationships with the heads of music departments at schools in his area. And he also passed out flyers promoting his business. The guy was a networker, and I really saw what he did. Now, when I did my research, I found that sciences and language tutoring are two areas where there is a big demand for tutors. And that's at least according to tutorcrunch.com. It's a website, and they say that these subjects are quite appealing subjects for tutors because they usually have a large number of lessons, multiple tutoring sessions, and they also offer a higher income. And a good example, or one example of a good tutoring gig, at least this is according to tutorcrunch.com, is tutoring Latin. And they say that pays $31.50 per hour. Now, I don't know many folks who speak Latin or who are learning Latin, but the point here is this. It's a relatively obscure subject, and those subjects pay tutors very well. So my suggestion is seek out those opportunities. Content writer. And boy, do I've got experience as a content writer. I do this practically every single day. Now, a content writer is a person who takes an assignment to write content for an online platform. And this really is a growing field because to stay competitive, more and more businesses are realizing that they've got to have a strong online presence if they want to grow and if they want to stay competitive. Now, content creators on social media platforms, they need writers, and I see this and hear about this all the time. So if you're a good writer, you should be in demand just by contacting one of these platforms. Now, some of the content that you're going to be required to write are for websites, for email campaigns, for blogs, for product descriptions, speeches, newsletters. Social media post is another big one, and I know that's very, very much in demand. Now, content writers also help their clients sell, and they also write copy that helps the readers of the websites understand or better understand the products and services. So you're really writing a lot of different things. Now, you can use Upwork and Fiverr, two platforms to find clients, but I suggest, and I'm always going to suggest, not only using platforms like that, but I recommend that you get out and you knock on some doors, or maybe you pass out flyers, or you just pick up business cards and you send information letting people know what you do and that you're there and you're available to do content writing. Now, pay does vary. You are usually paid by the word, or usually, I'm going to tell you, it ranges between 5 to 30 cents per word. I prefer, and most people I think prefer, to be paid by the assignment. It just seems to be more comfortable. Now, I do find technical writers are usually paid more than writers of general content. I just want to make sure that I mention it. Now, it is also every writer's dream to latch on to a few clients who give them regular, well-paying assignments. If you can do that, your future is definitely assured. So when you're out there and when you're introducing yourself to potential clients, look for those people who are going to give you regular work, because when you get that check, or you get those checks every single month, you get those deposits, you feel really good. But I do like content writing. It's going to take some time to get yourself established. And I said this before. It could happen overnight, but it's more likely it's going to take you a few months to get rolling. Retail manager. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is not my favorite of the 7, but it is a solid job. Now let me tell you, a retail manager, you probably know, they're responsible for meeting the store's financial targets, which is obviously hitting the sales goals. But they also are responsible for keeping the costs down. Now, they're in charge of supervising and hiring sales associates and support staff. They're in charge of scheduling and inventory control, store displays, and customer service. And I think I've covered most of it, if not all of it. But some of the benefits of working as a manager in retail, in the retail world, is that you do enjoy, or can enjoy, a flexible schedule. You get employee discounts, and I know some people take the job just for that, but you'll also earn a higher salary than team members, and really it's not a bad salary. Now, a video posting that I saw for a store manager at Ace Hardware says they're paying $45,000 a year for a store manager. Mattress firm, they're paying $60,000 to $90,000. I saw that listed. Burlington stores, they're paying $70,000 a year. And when I hear these salaries, I'm like, wow, this isn't too bad. But there are some unpleasant aspects of working in retail, and it's dealing with high turnover among staff, especially young staff. You also may get stuck working a weekend or a holiday shift. I say stuck because it does happen. You also have to make sure that that store is staffed. You're going to have to deal with customer complaints. You're going to have to also work with or deal with motivating employees. It's always a constant challenge in retail. Now, when you're applying for one of these positions, I really do think it's a good idea, if you're an older applicant, to stress that you're skilled at nurturing young talent and that you enjoy motivating entry-level employees. Keep that in mind, those two things. Now, while retail experience is a plus, I haven't found that it's usually necessary at the store level if you've got related management experience. So, overall, my summary is, this is more of a hands-on job. You can make some pretty decent money. You're going to have some headaches along the way. But if you do enjoy working with people, I think this job, you know what? It's on my list for a reason. And it's on my list because I believe that there are many folks out there who've got the skills, got the experience, that would take this job and embrace it and do a darn good job as a retail manager. School bus driver. And I know some of you are out there saying, Lou, what? A bus driver? Seriously, really? Well, you know what? Yeah, a bus driver, a school bus driver. What you're doing is you're just providing safe transportation for school children. In the position, you're going to be following a schedule and a predetermined route, so it's not a difficult job whatsoever. And I included this particular job on our list because the job requirements are not too stringent. And demand is high, and the pay range, while it does vary, you know what? My research found it shows that bus drivers can make as much as $24 to $28 per hour. Plus, many schools also offer generous benefits, and some also offering sinus bonuses. How can you beat it? Every employer that I found, they do require a high school diploma or a GED. Now, they also require a commercial driver's license, or what's called a CDL. And to get a CDL in my state of Ohio, which I'm using as an example, you got to be 18 years old. You got to have a valid driver's license. You got to have proof of citizenship. And you have to have 120 hours of classroom and hands-on training and testing. That's the CDL. Now, my research found that some organizations, they're going to pay for your training, which I think really does underscore the high demand for school bus drivers. It's an important job. I think it could be fun, actually. Now, besides high hourly pay, some of the benefits include 401k, dental and health insurance, paid time off, a retirement plan, and working day shifts. I love day. Now, all in all, I think a school bus driver is a solid career opportunity, provided you enjoy spending a few hours transporting school kids. So don't rule this off your list. Check it out. You might find it is the job for you. Sales manager. And yes, I'm very familiar with this field because I was a sales manager. And I know some of you out there are saying, yeah, I could see Lou as a sales manager. But I'm familiar with it, not just because I did it, but because I hired sales managers at my publishing and trade show companies. And those folks, they were responsible for leading the sales team and hitting sales targets. And like most employers of sales managers, well, you know what? I expected my sales managers to also recruit, to hire, and to train members of their team. They were also tasked with creating training programs, which was important, setting individual sales goals, which wasn't always easy, but they also had to evaluate performance. Now, to become a sales manager, when you are over 50, you are often required to have a minimum of several years of experience in sales, and that I'm sure you can understand. But you got to be able to convey that you have excellent leadership, mentorship, and motivational skills when you're sitting in that interview. You also have to be prepared, and I think this is important, to demonstrate that you are insightful and analytical, and you can look at all the numbers and you can kind of plan and see where you're going to be. Now, experience in sales, I find sales management experience, you know what, I find it's not always necessary because, as I mentioned, it's sometimes with salespeople, you just develop. And I know for me, I pulled salespeople out of the ranks. You got to have a 4-year degree at most places, although I find a successful track record in sales that trumps a degree anytime. Now, according to Indeed.com, the average salary for a sales manager is about $67,000 a year in the U.S., and you also get a $25,000 in commissions per year if you've got 2 or more years experience. So you can make a good salary even just getting right out of the gate. You can make a nice salary as a sales manager. Now, to sum this up, I do think it's a good field. I think it's a good career. If you have management experience and if you're outgoing enough and you don't mind, maybe I'm going to say literally knocking on a few doors. Lord knows I've done that in my sales world and my sales experience. But yeah, it's a good way to make money if you've got management experience and you enjoy talking to people. Virtual assistant. Now, this is the only gig, the only career, the only job on this list that does require some technical expertise. Now, a virtual assistant is a skilled, self-employed independent contractor who works for their clients remotely, which is really nice. You're working from your home, or maybe you work from Starbucks if that's what you want to do on a particular day. Now, working as a virtual assistant, it comes with a lot of advantages. You have a flexible schedule. You get to pick the services that you offer. There's low startup costs, and you also have unlimited earning potential, repeated unlimited earning potential. But there are a few, let's just say, challenges, just like any job. Number 1, you're frequently going to have to prospect for new clients. Number 2, staying motivated. It's not always easy when you're working by yourself. Number 3, there are no paid health benefits or paid time off. It's always something that you want, and unfortunately you don't get that with this job. But it is a relatively easy gig to start because people over 50, you've got marketable skills, you've got decades of experience, an experience that companies need and are willing to pay for. I can't stress that enough. If we have the confidence, we can do it. In some ways that you can advertise your skills and meet people, use Upwork. Use Fiverr.com. You could also market your skills and your experience to local businesses in your area. Just walk in and hand them a card or a flyer. And because clients are paying for your skills and your experience, one thing that's nice is age is usually not a factor as long as your skills can help them grow their business. I highly recommend becoming a virtual assistant Because after you get this gig up and running and you establish a track record, you can earn a pretty good income. And I've seen people earning $25,000, $35,000, $45,000. There are not many jobs out there that you can have all these benefits and a few of the challenges and really almost immediately start making money. It's really up to you, but this is a gig I highly recommend. So now let me summarize this list of 7 high-paying jobs for people over 50. Let me just summarize it by saying there are lots of jobs out there for people over 50 who have decades of industry skills and experience. You're just going to sit down. You got to sit down and examine your skills, look at your experience, and then decide which one of these jobs are right for you. But I do want to remind you that sometimes, yes, you're going to need to get additional training to land the job that you want. But that additional training, well, it can also land you a bright new future. And that is not an exaggeration, my friends. It does take some training sometimes. Now, I'm saying this because many times while I've been doing my channel, producing this channel, got people who contact me and say, Lou, I got to go. You're telling me about a job, and I've got to go ahead and get all this training, and it's going to take me years, and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I hear it all the time. Look at what you got. Leverage what you have, and you can make a good living, and you won't have to work for a company that doesn't appreciate you. Well, that's all I got for you, my friends. I'm really glad that you tuned into this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions, I mentioned it earlier. Send me an email, comment on the video. I always look forward to reading your comments. It takes me a day or two to get back to you, sometimes 3, but I always get back to people who do send me a message. So I do want to remind you, in the description box, I've got 2 freebies. My 5-sentence cover letter that hiring managers can't resist. It's a freebie. Use all or part of it. Or I do have a career aptitude test courtesy of Career Fitter. The test is free unless you want to dive deep. And then if you do, there is a paid version that does provide you a lot more bells and whistles. But again, 2 freebies in the description box. Check them out. As I always say, have a great day, everybody.